Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. This is the weekly news roundup video, the show where we sit down and we talk about all of the latest Everton news from the last 7 days or so. We're not going to do it in any particular order today. We're not going to do it from Monday to Friday. We're just going to go through all of the news and have a little bit of a discussion about it. So Carlo Ancelotti has had his pre-game press conference ahead of tomorrow's game against West Bromwich Albion. We haven't already checked out our game preview to that game. It was live streamed a little bit earlier on, so if you could check that out, it would mean a massive amount to me. But Carlo Ancelotti was asked today about injuries. He was asked specifically about Jadon Brown, who of course picked up a knock in the Carabao Cup game against Salford City on Wednesday. He was also asked about Mason Holgate. We'll talk about Jadon Brown first. Carlo Ancelotti confirmed that he is due to be out for around about 3 to 5 weeks with an injury picked up on Wednesday. The Liverpool Echo had confirmed it a little bit earlier on in the days to state that he picked up a knock and he could be seeing around about a month on the sideline, and Carlo Ancelotti has confirmed that it will be at least 3, potentially even 5 weeks that Jadon Brown will be out. Look, obviously after the news that Mason Holgate was due to spend the period out on the sidelines, it wasn't brilliant to hear that Jadon Brown had picked up an injury as well. We're now with only 2 centre-backs. Carlo Ancelotti did confirm that we are after a centre-back in the transfer market because of this, but of course, it leaves us with just Yerry Mina and Michael Keane as the first team centre-backs with Premier League experience. I know Lewis Gibson's in there, but he, of course, hasn't got any Premier League experience. So it's not great news for Jadon Brown whatsoever. Obviously, he played quite well in that first sort of 20-25 minutes of that game against Salford City as well. And, he went down. I think he felt something, and, of course, he had to be taken off. And Carlo Ancelotti has confirmed that he won't need surgery, but he will be sidelined for around about 3 to 5 weeks with that injury. I think it's a ligament injury as well, which isn't great for the player. He also was asked about Mason Holgate because we haven't really had an update on Mason Holgate. Obviously, we knew he got injured in the pre-season games, didn't feature against Spurs last week, and whenever we were sort of wanting an update, it was just a case of we don't really know a timescale yet. We just know that he's out injured. But Carlo Ancelotti has given a timescale today. He said that Mason Holgate is looking at around about 2 to 3 months out on the sideline. He said he's training okay in terms of being able to walk on it. He's been walking in the swimming pool, so his rehabilitation is going well, but he's still looking at around about 2 to 3 months out on the sideline. So there's 2 of our centre-backs that both played together consistently towards the back end of last season. Certainly Mason Holgate, who I think a lot of people see as our most reliable or best centre-half, certainly was at the end of, towards the back end of last season. He is set to be out for around about 2 to 3 months. And Jadon Brown, the new upcoming centre-back, of course, who again, would have been in the plans for Carlo Ancelotti, certainly in the plans to play in the Carabao Cup games. Carlo spoke today about rotation and how important it is to rotate the squad. Jadon Brown would have been one of those players that was starting every single Carabao Cup game, and he would have also been in contention to start in the Premier League games as well if any injuries were to happen. And we spoke I've spoke a lot recently about the need for the centre-half and whether Everton will actually go in for the centre-half. And before the injuries, you sort of sit back and think, well, we've got Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, Jadon Brown and Mason Holgate. Now, of course, we've only got Michael Keane and Yerry Mina for at least the next sort of 3 to 5 weeks. And that's, Jadon Brown coming back. And, of course, the next couple of months for Mason Holgate's return. So, obviously, off the back of that information, like I mentioned before, Carlo Ancelotti was asked if Everton are now in the market for a centre-back. He was asked specifically about Fikayo Tomori from Chelsea. We've got a little bit of an update on, which we'll go into in a second. He said, don't talk to me about Tomori. He's a Chelsea player. He's not a player of Everton. However, we are now sort of actively in the market for the centre-half, and we think it's important that we go and at least get a temporary replacement in for those players that, of course, have picked up injuries and won't be able to feature for quite some time. It's not looking great at the moment, considering it would only take a knock to Michael Keane or Yerry Mina on Saturday, or a knock to one of those 2 players in the next coming weeks or so, and Lewis Gibson will have to step in. And, again, we're walking on very, very thin ice at the moment in terms of centre-backs, and again, that's not our fault. You can't help injuries, you can't help players going down in the first week of the season and picking up an injury that's going to see them out for 2 to 3 months, but it happens, and that's the situation that we are in. So Carlo Ancelotti has said that we are in the market for another centre-back due to those injuries. Mason Holgate due to be out for 2 to 3 months. Jadon Brown out for around about 3 to 5 weeks, so not quite as long, but still, a month on the sideline. Everton have confirmed, or either confirmed, the Carabao Cup 4th round draw was it was yesterday, it was on Thursday night. Everton have been drawn against West Ham United or Hull City in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. This, of course, is you're subject to if we beat Fleetwood Town away from home next week. Everton play Fleetwood Town on Wednesday, and then if we manage to beat Fleetwood Town, we will play either Hull City or West Ham United in the following fourth round the week after, so the Wednesday after. So 2 weeks on Wednesday, last Wednesday just gone, sorry, the fourth round Carabao Cup draw has been made, and Everton have been drawn against West Ham United or Hull City, and of course that does depend on whether or not we beat Fleetwood Town. So it's Everton or Fleetwood versus West Ham or Hull City. So there you go. Again, another decent Carabao Cup draw. Obviously, we can't look too, far ahead because we've still got West Brom, Fleetwood and Crystal Palace, I believe, before that Carabao Cup fourth round game. So we can't look too far ahead to it. But, it's nice to know. The Carabao Cup have said that they're doing it so that teams can have a little bit more time to prepare. And obviously, because the fixtures are so tight and it's every week, it's so that teams can have, a little bit more time to know who they're coming up against and to prepare for that game in advance. I don't mind that. I quite like that. We sort of know who we're playing next. We know that if we get through and if we beat Fleetwood, we go on to play two teams that, again, we should be turning up and we should be beating. It's not like we're being drawn against the top quality Premier League side, and we're being drawn against probably an average Premier League side, at best being nicer than a side that could even be fighting relegation this year, and I believe a Championship side as well. So again, it's nice to know the fourth round draw. Of course, not really looking too much into it because we still have to get through in the game against Fleetwood. Next week we still have to beat Fleetwood in order to go into this game. But it is interesting that the draw has been made and Everton or Fleetwood have been drawn against West Ham United or Hull City in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. Hummel and Everton released a limited edition pair of trainers this week, Alan Ball inspired trainers. They sold out within the first hour and a half, I think, of going on sale. They were white with black detail. They had Alan Ball's name written on them. They also had Hummel and Everton's sort of logo on the tongue of the trainer as well. I thought they were quite smart. Didn't manage to pick myself up a pair. They were going for absolutely ridiculous amounts on eBay after they'd officially sold out on the Everton website. But again, really, really good response from a lot of Evertonians. I know they weren't a lot of people's cup of tea, and that's fair enough. Like I said, they weren't particularly my cup of tea, so I didn't end up picking them up. But I thought they were smart. I thought they were nice. I thought they looked good. And it turns out a lot of Evertonians, were really happy with them as well. So those limited edition trainers sold out within, I think, about, an hour, if that, 45 minutes to an hour. So obviously a fantastic response from Evertonians. Sort of the biggest bit of news, I think, over the last 24 hours or so, as it has been confirmed, what we all sort of knew anyway, and that is that Everton have officially signed James Rodriguez on a free transfer. Now, this was rumoured a couple of weeks ago, and we briefly spoke about it, I think, on one of the live streams. We spoke about how the BBC reported that it was a fee of £12 million, and then literally 45 minutes an hour later, Transfer Market, who were the website which provide all of the information for players, contracts, their agent, their clubs, their stats, etc. They stated that it wasn't actually £12 million and we brought him in on a free transfer. Now, this was all up in the air. This was all, again, there was some media outlets saying it was 20 million, some media outlets saying it was 30 million, some media outlets saying 12, and obviously Transfer Market saying it was free. And at this point, I don't think anybody really was focused on how much we brought him in for, because at this point, we'd brought him in, it was official, he was an Everton player, and he just tore it up against Spurs away from home. But it has been confirmed by one of James Rodriguez's ex-clubs, CAB_official on Twitter. They have stated that they were due a fee for James Rodriguez when he signed for Everton Football Club. However, because he signed on a free transfer, there was no fee involved. I think they were asked a lot of questions about whether or not they got any money out of the transfer, because of course there was a clause, I think, in his Real Madrid contract that they would get some money back from it. But they have confirmed that because there was no no money exchanged in regards to an official transfer fee, that means they didn't end up getting any money out of it. The Liverpool Echo also reported this and said that there was no official transfer fee. However, I believe Everton paid some of Real Madrid's some of his wages off from his remaining contract at Real Madrid. So there was money exchanged, of course, but there was no official transfer fee. So it is official. Everton signed James Rodriguez on a free transfer. That is absolutely unbelievable, considering how well he played on Sunday against Spurs, when in his first game for the football club after only 4 days training. To say that we managed to bring him in on a free transfer in his last year of his contract is absolutely fantastic, and Marcel Brands, take a bow, because you have done an absolute madness with this one. So that is probably the biggest bit of news that got a lot of Evertonians excited over the last 24 hours or so. It's just so we could say we signed James Rodriguez on a free transfer. He cost less than what a paper bag had cost you in Tesco, and look at how fantastic he is. So that was really, really good to see. In regards to tomorrow then, and another centre-half, Ryan Taylor, Sport tweeted out a couple of days ago that Everton are still waiting for the final final answer from Chelsea regarding Fikayo Tomori. Apparently Rennes are interested on bringing him in exchange for their player Eduardo Mendy, who looks like he is on his way to Chelsea, and Stadio Rennes are trying to make Fikayo Tomori a part of that deal. Everton are said to potentially move their interest towards Gleeson Bremer. Carlo Ancelotti is apparently a keen admirer of the player, and the Ryan Taylor Sport said that if Everton aren't successful in bringing in Fikayo Tomori, then they will look to Bremer as a potential replacement. And again, this was all before we found out about Mason Holgate's injury and the extent of how long he'll be out, and before we found out the extent of Jadon Brown's injury as well. So I dare say that the Fikayo Tomori situation will speed up a little bit within the next couple of weeks or so, because it needs to. Ultimately, Everton need to go out there actively in the transfer market now and bring somebody in as temporary cover at the very, very least, because obviously we've got two major injuries in that key position. And the final bit of news I want to talk about today is that Everton's main shirt sponsor Kazoo have confirmed that they are going to donate £1,000 to Everton in the community for every Premier League goal scored both at Goodison Park and away from home for Everton Football Club. Sport Peas have done a similar initiative last season, but Kazoo have confirmed that they will donate £1,000 to Everton in the community for every goal Everton score in the Premier League this season, which is absolutely fantastic from Kazoo, and absolutely fantastic to see and hear as well. That's going to do it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Recently at 2,500 subscribers, which again is a massive milestone. So a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed. A big thank you to everybody who has liked the video, subscribed to the channel, even just watched the video, share the video, commented. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. It means a massive amount to me. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button, share the video. Let's try and get as many people involved as possible. Let me know your thoughts on every topic that we've spoken about in today's video as well. Would really appreciate your feedback. Don't forget to check out the game preview ahead of tomorrow's game against West Bromwich Albion. It'd mean a massive amount to me if you could get involved with that one as well. Big thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.